Donum Deae. By Lord Shinta. Thousands of years have passed since the fall of Shinra. The world has undergone drastic changes and Midja is no longer even a memory, the floating city and her legendary soldiers forgotten by all but the most studious of historians. Unknown to them, that legend was about to be thrust back into the forefront of everyone's mind once more. Minerva grants her original champion a second chance to redeem himself and become Silver Weapon. Chapter 1. Morning rose, its golden rays turning the sky brilliant shades of red and gold, its rays warming the earth below and casting warm hues across the long grass that surrounded the small rickety house that appeared to be held up by sheer willpower alone. There was no way that house should be standing without some supernatural force. At least that was how it appeared to the figure hunkered down in a branch of the lone tree close to the house. Sunlight caught long hair turning the orb into a brilliant fiery copper, a fitting match to the owner's personality. Pale blue eyes gazed out across the open land. They blazed with the glow of a power long since forgotten by this world. Slowly they found what they were looking for. Standing within the poorly constructed kitchen of that rickety house stood a young boy. Black hair lay haphazardly across his head, the strands sticking out in every which direction in more of a fashion the puppy would have worn. Slightly rounded face held eyes that he could never forget, brilliant green that even now were starting to hold the glow he used to love so much, though the pupils were wrong. Allowing his eyes to travel over the boy, a smile crossed the figure's lips, the brilliant crimson and black leather crackling as the figure pushed himself to his feet once more. Slowly a crimson-clad hand extended a rare purple and white apple held gently in the figure's fingers. My friend, your desire is the bringer of life, the gift of the goddess. Even if the morrow is barren of promises, nothing shall forestall my return. Soon, my beloved. Long silk black feathers spread afar, the strong corded muscles pulling taut as the single ebony wing propelled its owner out of the tree and high into the morning's brilliant rays. Looking out through the Weasley's kitchen window, Harry narrowed slightly glowing emerald eyes. He could have sworn he had heard a male's voice whispering to him just then. Looking out across the open lawn to the single tree that dotted the Weasley's land, he saw several ebony feathers floating down to the ground. "Hey mate, what are you looking at?" Ron moved up beside him munching on an apple. Something stirred in him seeing those feathers and hearing the crunch of an apple next to him. "My soul, corrupted by vengeance, hath endured torment, to find the end of the journey in my own salvation and your eternal slumber. Legend shall speak of sacrifice at world's end. The wind sails over the water's surface, quietly. But surely, even if the morrow is barren of promises, nothing shall forestall my return. To become the dew that quenches the land. To spare the sands, the seas, the skies. I offer thee this silent sacrifice." Ron blinked apple halfway to his mouth as he stared down at his friend. "What?" Shaking his head, Harry looked up to Ron confused. Where the hell had that come from? "Harry, I didn't know you read Loveless, though." "What part was that from?" "I never heard the last part." She recognized part 4 but not the ending. Turning back to where Hermione was sitting among the other Weasley children, he shook his head. "I haven't ''T'. Something told me that was what followed what I thought I heard." He now had the full attention of the Weasley household and it was making him nervous. "What did you hear, Harry dear?" Molly asked. She was nervous with you-know-who returned. There was no telling what he would try to do. Frowning, Harry tried to remember what he heard. "My friend, your desire is the bringer of life. The gift of the goddess. Even if the morrow is barren of promises, nothing shall forestall my return." A frown pulled at Hermione's lips. "That was Act 3. And you stated part of Act 4. Harry, there is no 5th act, it was never discovered." Emerald eyes seemed to glow more, the pupils narrowing so that they appeared cat-like as Harry's thoughts turned inwards. "No, That is the final fact. Written by a man that believed he was living loveless. He looked back out the window, his eyes taking in the black feathers sitting silently on the ground. 3 friends go into battle, 1 is captured, 1 flies away, the one that is left becomes a hero. My friend, do you fly away now? To a world that abhors you and I? All that awaits you is a somber morrow. No matter where the winds may blow. Blinking, Harry turned back to look at the family, his eyes having once more returned to normal. Harry dear, is this you know who? Looking over to where Molly was standing, Harry shook his head. No, the voice I heard wasn't Voldemort's. He ignored the flinch from most those present in the room, but I recognize it though, like. He frowned, trying to pull up from the depth of his memory where he had heard that voice before. Like from a very old dream. Shaking his head, he moved away from the window and sat down at the table. Striding over to her husband, Molly set a hand on his shoulder, her eyes showing both confusion and worry. Contact Dumbledore, ask him if he knows anything about this. Arthur whispered, patting his wife's hand gently. He was worried too. They would need to let the Order know of this new development as well. He prayed that this was simply the result of falling asleep during history class and not something to do with you-know-who. Landing in a dark alleyway, a black wing quickly retracted with a small hiss from its owner. No matter how many times the wing was extended and retracted, it always hurt. Moving over to a box hidden deep in the shadows, the figure pulled out a black cloak hidden inside. He threw it over the dark crimson and black duster, pulling the hood up to hide fire auburn hair. Stepping out into the busy Diagon alley, the figure unconsciously pulled the hood closer over his face, hiding brilliant glowing eyes deep in the shadows. Heeled boots clicked softly on the cobblestone path, body twisting with the fluid of a dancer avoiding witches and wizards as they moved about their daily lives. Stepping into the cauldron, the figure searched the farthest booths, glowing pale blue eyes, finding 2 sets of glowing eyes staring back. Moving to stand in front of the table, a dark smile crossed the figure's face under the hood of the cloak, red leather-clad fingers gently scratching the head of 2 large dogs at his feet. I found him.
Well, I do hope you enjoyed the videos so far and video game content. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below. And I noticed 40% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you can, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help me and help the channel grow. Until next time, goodbye!